What's going on, everybody? Guitar Game Guy here with my buddy Super Scourge 300.
Hi.
And we're here to talk about a video we would want to make for quite some time now. We weren't exactly sure as to how exactly we wanted to make it because we didn't think it was necessarily, a bad show per se so far, but certain events have transpired that have inspired us to make this. And even if you're a diehard fan of Dragon Ball, we do think that a lot of people will probably agree with us if you listen to some of the points we have to make. So without further ado, this is going to be why we stopped watching Dragon Ball Super. And it goes without saying, but this video will contain massive spoilers. So Dragon Ball Super, which is commonly abbreviated as DBS, it's a sequel to the Dragon Ball Z anime, which this series began airing on July 5th, 2015. It's the first Dragon Ball series featuring a new storyline in 18 years, since the final episode of GT in 97. And so, of course, we got the plot, framework, and character designs all created by the original author, Akira Toriyama. The series plot takes place after the Majin Buu saga. It's in between the 10-year gap between that 28th World Martial Arts Tournament, so this actually takes place before Goku goes off to go train Oob. So a quick overview of what's happened so far. So right after Kid Buu is defeated, Goku continues to attempt to maintain Earth's peace despite being forced by Chi-Chi to work on their radish farm. Gohan and Videl get married. Goten and Trunks plan finding a wedding present for them. And alongside we have a newcomer, Beerus, who dreams of a Super Saiyan God, and upon waking he begins searching for the figure, believing his dream to be prophetic. So his search leads him to King Kai's planet, where he outclasses Super Saiyan 3 Goku before turning his eyes to Vegeta on Earth. So Vegeta enjoys his time on Earth until he was angered by the ungenerous Majin Buu for not sharing his pudding. Yes, I'm not making this up. But of course, everyone watching this, you've probably already seen that so far. So the Z-Fighters team up to take Beerus out, but his power is too strong for them. Champa and Vados, who are similarly also gods of destruction of their own type, so they notice Beerus fighting on King Kai's planet and later on Earth, and they want to be unnoticed by Beerus. So they begin talking about finding big wish orbs, which we already know what those actually are. So the Supreme Kais, they overhear them, and they think they're talking about the Namekian Dragon Balls. So before Beerus can do anything to destroy Earth, Goku intervenes, and he requests more time to seek out the Super Saiyan God. It doesn't take long before Goku figures out how to actually become one, and so once he becomes Super Saiyan God, he and Beerus have a brief fight. And again, this is very, very similar storyline to the actual movie Battle of Gods, and so it's basically just a rehash of what happened in the movie and placed in the show, even though it's slightly different. The animation is a little different. But other than that, it's pretty much the same thing. Some of the different transformations look a little bit different camera angles, different set areas, but overall the plot is generally the same thing. And so after Goku and Beerus fight briefly, Beerus says that he absorbed the power of him, so Goku's basically as strong as a Super Saiyan God now. But it doesn't take long until later that Frieza comes back. Yeah, that's already happened in Resurrection of F, but he comes back in the series as well, and of course he seeks revenge on Goku and trains for 4 months. During this time, Goku and Vegeta are being trained by Whis to grow stronger on their base. Eventually, Frieza goes back to Earth, he brings an army with him, and then eventually Goku and Vegeta figure out a way to surpass the base Super Saiyan God form and become Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan. Just rolls right off the tongue, doesn't it? So after they fight briefly, if you guys have seen Resurrection of F, the exact same thing happens. So basically, Goku gets a vision of what actually happens when Frieza is basically getting the shit beat ahead of him by Vegeta. Frieza doesn't like this, so he decides to blow up the Earth. Right before he does this, though, Whis turns back time 5 minutes and tells Goku what happened. So Goku delivers the killing blow to Frieza, and everyone's happy and this and that. But the current saga we're in now is the God of Destruction Champa Saga, which is basically, another world tournament, if you will, but it's off-world. And we get introduced to a lot of new characters and things, such as Monaka, Frost, Hit, Poltamu, etc. And so the tournament is basically ongoing at this point. It's basically the third saga in the series. So that's generally what's been happening so far. And if you guys haven't already told, there are already a couple things of why we have an issue with this series so far.
To break it down, I'm sure what put a lot of people off with Dragon Ball Super when it was announced was the announcement that it would basically, the first two portions of the show would just retell the first two movies that they'd released from Battle of Gods, when they'd created their new saga. Everyone had gotten used to Battle of Gods and really enjoyed Resurrection F. I really liked Resurrection F. I thought it was a really good movie. It was a solid movie. The animation was really great. But the retellings in the series are not only completely different, actually, like the locations are different, a lot of the the instances where it happened, like what happens in the show, are actually very different compared to the movies. And because of this, the movies are now rendered non-canon. Like, they're officially non-canon now. Battle of Gods and Resurrection F are non-canon. The series is the canon part. All the, Golden Frieza stuff is still in there. The Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan, which they've now thankfully renamed Super Saiyan Blue, which is, it's not a great name, but it's better than Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan, or SSGSS, because that name fucking sucks. But overall, the animation quality, first of all, was what was putting people off. And they have gotten better. Like the quality has definitely improved now that we're in the God of Destruction Champa saga. It's like they were putting off using their good animation until they get to the new saga, which is why the series should have started from the God of Destruction Champa arc to begin with. It would have just made more sense just to keep the movies canon, but now the animation's good. Back in the beginning, like episode 5 onwards, the animation quality and just the production value dropped hugely. They kind of tried to make up for it with more story. A lot more was added to the plot. Golden Frieza, they put a lot of weird additions into the story. Like, they had Ginyu come back, which was fucking weird. And they kind of added a bit more to Gohan as well, because a lot of people were bitching about Gohan being pretty useless, and they kind of made him cool again, but not as much. And honestly, it was around the Golden Frieza saga in Super, like mid-saga, I just stopped watching. I didn't even see the ending. I still haven't, in fact. I haven't even been bothered to go back and watch Golden Frieza. It's a shame, really, because we've talked about this before, but the plot for the series as a whole, like, not counting some of the tournament stuff. The tournament stuff is okay, but we'll get into that in a second. But a lot of the story and the forms, even, we're gonna piss people off saying this, aren't as good as we would have hoped. When we all heard Super Saiyan God, we all thought of something amazing, extravagant. We started thinking all these different designs, but really it's hair recolors. We have red, we now have blue. There's a rumor we're getting white next. I don't know. They seem to be reusing a lot of moves, that we already know. It's the basic Kamehameha, Gallic Gun, Final Flash kind of thing. There's no Spirit Bomb, anything, nothing like that. It's all a lot of what we've seen. We haven't seen any Dragon Fist. And here comes a part where basically this statement is going to annoy people, but we both agree, and you can agree with me here, Josh. We both technically prefer the writing of Dragon Ball GT to the writing of Super. GT, at the very least, despite all of the flaws that it did have them. It had a solid plot. It knew what it wanted to be, and it tried to be original. And it worked, I think, for the most part. It had original villains, and it had an original premise. It did do a bit of rehashing, but it made up for it with a lot of new stuff as well. And most of the problems people have with the series, comes from Goku being kid and stuff like that. All of that aside, they had a big, problem on their plate at Toei Animation when they had to do a sequel series to Z, especially if it's non-canon. And obviously now Super has completely destroyed GT's hopes of ever being semi-canon. It is officially now another universe, GT. But GT, for what it was, and for the the huge responsibility they had to make it happen, they did well, I think. I think that they did a pretty good job. It's non-canon, and it had no input from Akira Toriyama, but he stated in an interview that he really liked the design of Super Saiyan 4. He said it was really imaginative, and he understood why they did it. It combines Great Ape with Super Saiyan. It's a good idea, and it looks very original. It's not just another hair change.
It's a complete body change.
yeah, it's badass. I have a statue of it. It's just a very cool form, and the villains were good. We had we had Return of Fusion, with Gogeta turning Super Saiyan 4. It was all just pretty good. The problem that Super has thus far, though, is that it's not trying to be original. It's introducing new characters in this new tournament saga with Champa, because it's Universe 7, which is Goku's universe, a team of fighters from his universe, led by Beerus, against Champa's team from Universe 6, led by, 5 fighters that he selected. Now, it's not like alternate versions of the characters that you might think, but some of the characters in Champa's team are, though different, are just rehashes of what we've already seen. Like take Frost, for instance.
And this is pretty much where the turning point came in.
Yeah, it all fell apart with Frost, I'm afraid.
Up to this point, the series wasn't unwatchable per se. I still wouldn't call it unwatchable. Like it's Dragon Ball, so you can find enjoyment out of it. But so far, I would say it's been underwhelming. But at this point, with that one episode, we'll get here in a second. When that episode appeared, the series became underwhelming to just plain suck. Now, before you start raging and everything, just hear me out for a second. So let's see. We have another tournament, Buu Saga, introducing new characters, Buu Saga. Introducing pretty well, again, there's, like you said, there's really no moves. Pretty much everything we've seen happen, they've been using the same moves and everything. A couple new characters here and there, that's the majority of it, though. But where the series just falls flat on its face, where Toriyama thinks he's being very clever with this for some reason. But a very interesting premise was that we have this newcomer, Frost, who is in the same race as Frieza, but he's a good guy. And the reason why everyone liked that so much is because it was different. Because we had not seen, an evil race be willing to help Goku and everyone else before. It was new, it was fresh, it was unique, it was just really a breath of fresh air from all the same stuff we had before. And
it was, honestly, Frost as well, and another point to that is a lot of people liked him as well because he's the first canon member of Frieza's race that's appeared since King Cold, and you can't count Cooler. You cannot count Cooler, unfortunately.
Exactly. And the tournament was all right, but all of a sudden there comes a point in the episode where after Frost fights Goku, and apparently Frost wins or whatever, decides to do a 180 and reveals that he's actually going to betray them all. And thus, he becomes another fucking Frieza.
It's literally the same thing. Like, when he turned around in that episode and did the little chuckle and did the face, that common Frieza look, I lost all respect for the show and the writers, and I went, I'm looking at Frieza. I was like, we just did this. We've just done this with Golden Frieza. We have, effectively now, a more shit version of Golden Frieza. Because at least Golden Frieza put up a fight against Goku. He fucked him up. And it was a really nice send-off for Frieza. It was like, here's the famous villain that you all know. Maybe possibly one of the best villains in Dragon Ball ever. Or the best in Z, even. A lot of people say that. And we're going to bring him back as a huge reference, a huge throwback, and we're going to give him this new form to make him even more awesome, and that'll be it, and then you'll never see him again. That's the end of Frieza. But no, in the very next season, he makes another character, slaps a different name on him, and gives him Frieza's fucking personality, and he's not even as strong.
No.
It's pathetic. It burns me up. Like, at that point, I realized that Toriyama actually doesn't have a fucking clue what he's doing. Like, and it was even confirmed in an interview, I didn't tell you this, but just recently, like, people have asked him, people have reminded him, oh yeah, you do know that all of this is meant to be happening before he meets Oob. And he literally basically went, oh, what? Oh, really? And I was like, wow, I like facepalmed, and he went, I'll be honest, I've just been winging it the whole time. I was like, you know what, that explains a lot of the shit writing in Super, to be honest.
My lord.
This wing it strategy. It's so dumb. It's like, let's just change the hair color a few times and reuse villains. I mean, we might as well say it now. Next saga, we're gonna have a Cell-type character. I mean, why not,
We're
right?
calling it now,
You know what I mean?
and the end of Super, we're gonna have a rehash of Boo, who's gonna be like this pink, or instead of being a pink guy, he's gonna be a purple guy.
Yep. It's unfathomable to me. I mean, it's kind of redeemable in the sense that there was another character in the tournament called Kabe, or Kaba. It's a translation issue on the name. It's not confirmed yet, but he was a Saiyan kid from the other universe, Universe 6. Their Saiyans were vastly different. You know, they were heroes. They were never villains, and they're hired to take out evildoers. Even he didn't know that Frost was a bad guy or whatever. And he was a pretty diverse character because, you know, it was good for character progression for Vegeta, because Vegeta had never met, you know, other Saiyans and shit. He always, you know, and then finally they're talking to a Saiyan from another universe, and then there was this whole bullshit where Vegeta's kind of training him during their fight, and he teaches the kid to become a Super Saiyan for the first time. But then Vegeta, like, goes blue and just wrecks him in one and KOs him. Well, you know, that was all decent, and they ended up bringing Goku back in after, because, you know, they disqualified Frost, basically, because he cheated, and then they brought Goku back in, and now he's fighting this purple dude from Jampa's team called Hit. You know, genius naming, by the way. But, it's meant to be, you know, because he's a hitman, quote, and an assassin, you know, and, you know, to be fair, he might be the most enjoyable character that they've put out thus far. You know, he's all mysterious and he doesn't say much, and he has this douchey ability to kind of stop time for like 0.1 seconds, and like, so basically wherever you go to punch him, he will always counter it and hit you instead. And to make it worse, he actually took that number up. So he like powered himself up, and then his time freeze went to 0.5 seconds. So Goku thought he was clever because he started countering him, but then he took the time limit up, and he started fucking Goku up again. And I was like, okay, this is pretty cool. And, you know, just recently, you know, I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen Goku now technically... Oh, I say that heavily with heavy quotations. Technically has a new form. And like I said, it's a new form that exists because it's rehashing something else.
Yeah.
It's beautiful how they do it. It is 10 times Kaioken Super Saiyan Blue. Genius.
Oh, so unique. Man, that's the best form ever. Let's have the same form we've used, then just make it, you know, give it a power boost. That's what Kaioken is. It's a power boost.
Yeah.
Let's have the same form, and let's give it a fucking power boost. Next, we're gonna have, you know, Super Saiyan Purple Kaioken times 50. We want something different. That's all we want.
I heard rumors that they were gonna start rehashing more shit, and I kind of took it at face value and went, maybe they'll wise up and they won't do something like that. But I'm not fully against, you know, the form, it looks pretty, the aura is red and blue and it looks nice, and as Goku was powering up, as he was about to go Kaioken, you know, he started to get the red glow, and I was with a friend and I went, is that Kaioken? And then everything went deadly quiet and his aura disappeared, and he just looked at Hit, and then he just went, Kaioken! Like that, and went, psh, and I was like, whoa! You know, we haven't seen that in ages. But, so it had kind of a shock value, but nowhere near the level of originality that I think we all wanted. You know what I mean? It's not quite there yet, and I'm pretty sure at this point Goku's probably gonna win again against Hit, and the tournament will be won because all thanks to fucking Goku. Again, like,
kind of glad you brought that up because me and Colin have actually talked about this extensively. But the gist of it is, and I don't think we're the only ones that think this, but I think everyone is just sick and tired of Goku always winning. We want some shit to happen where, like, do you remember, you know, the first saga in Dragon Ball Z when Goku gets killed? He sacrificed himself so Raditz could die. I have not seen that, and he sacrificed himself to kill Cell. You know, 2 sagas that I really liked. We have not seen that happen in so long that there's no, like, tension anymore. It's just like, oh, it's fine, Goku will kill them. I mean, the last major enemy that I think has been killed by someone else other than Goku was Gohan when he killed Cell, and that was fucking years ago. Years ago. And it's really every single main enemy we've had so far is going to be killed by Goku at this point. You know, especially during the Resurrection F saga, which I know I'm not the only one that thinks this, but that was Vegeta's final moment to really get some closure in terms of his turmoil he had within himself when he was under his rule from Frieza. That was his closure. If he finished him off, that would have been perfect. But no, Goku cuts in and kills him. And what's funny is, in the movie, I can't remember if it's in the series or not, but in the movie, at the end of Resurrection F, Beerus goes, well, that ending sucks.
Yeah, he did. He basically said what everyone was thinking.
Begs the question, is Toriyama self-aware this sucks, or does he just not care?
Well, the only thing I heard is that Toriyama said that he wasn't pleased with the production value of Super, like the animation quality, but that doesn't excuse his writing ability. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, the writing is the fault here. We need, like, the thing about Z, the thing about Dragon Ball as a whole, even when you go back to like Dragon Ball, you know what I mean, is that shit was technically not suitable for daylight hours. You know what I mean? You put that shit on TV, and there were like parents calling in, like kicking up a storm. Because Dragon Ball Z was violent. It made you go, ooh, you know what I mean? And people got holes blown in them, arms ripped off. It was gory, fucking Cell getting blown in half. We all remember it. And Super has not lived up to that at all yet. At all. I think every time someone gets a hole blown in them in Super, I quote, it's a black little dot on them. Like there's no, flesh, it's not red, or they're not bleeding, it's just a little black hole. And they like to say it's because the blasts fucking cauterize the wound so it doesn't bleed. And I'm like, so what about in Z when it happens and they fucking gush loads of blood? You know what I mean? Like, it's so dumb, like, I don't know what, it's like they're trying to make Dragon Ball more appealable towards child audiences, and that makes me really sad. It's
trying to be too much of comic relief. I mean, yeah, you should have that. You should have some comedy and stuff in the series. That's another thing that made DBZ great. You have your moments of, being silly and stuff like that. In fact, one of my most favorite moments in DBZ is when Goku and Piccolo have to learn how to drive. I laughed my ass off.
Yes.
But in Super, that's basically the entire series so far, is just jokes and laughs and things. I think comic relief works better when it's put in increments, not when it's the entire thing. What's funny is, if you can actually search on this, Bing searched Dragon Ball Super genre. The genre is comedy.
Yep.
That's sad.
And it's not even good comedy, because, like, most of the jokes in Super are, like, jokes about Goku being dumb, or fart jokes, or something stupid. At least in GT, drawing from GT again, I'm sure we all remember Vegeta's, I shaved my moustache, you idiot! You know what I mean, kind of. That shit was cool. Like, the whole fucking series begins with a shot of Vegeta shaving. That was genius, you know what I mean? That was funny. And he was like, Goten, wait a minute, notice anything different? And Goten's like, oh, not really.
Yeah.
I was like, see, this is good. This is good comedy. But Super is literally some Nickelodeon fucking bullshit, or Disney XD. It's so crap.
It's like shit that a 5-year-old kid thinks is funny.
Yeah. And, like, to go back to the fact that, it's reusing as well, the thing that really bothers me, among other things, I have a bit of a theory here. I'm not sure if it's true, but I kind of I suspect that this might be the case, and I don't know if I've gone into this with you, but you might be surprised when I say this now, but I kind of believe that Akira Toriyama is stealing aspects from other things. We know he's rehashing, but I don't think people realize how much he's rehashing, or maybe he doesn't himself. Because, do you remember in Battle of Gods, when they introduced the Super Saiyan God, and then at the end, he absorbed Beerus's attack, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Did you know that exact same thing happened in GT when Super Saiyan 4 Goku fought baby Vegeta?
That is a damn good point.
Like, not only is the Super Saiyan 4's fur color the exact same tone of red and purple that the God hair is, Baby threw a revenge death ball at Super Saiyan 4 Goku, and he fucking absorbed that shit just like That's the only time as well that's ever happened, but just like God Goku. And then, do we all remember the infamous battle between Pikkon and Super Kaioken Goku in the Otherworld tournament?
Mm-hmm.
And, whoa, suddenly, he's fighting Hit, who's a very Pikkonish type character. Oh, and what does he do? Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken. I feel like we've been here before. You know what I mean? You know what? I'm just gonna call it now. Just like the Pikkon fight, it might end where they both fucking lose. You know, like double ring out or some shite. Because they just love reusing the story. I don't even know, man.
Yeah, I mean, and I think to kind of end this, the one redeeming quality I think the series has is Monaka. Because he's very mysterious. A lot of people are saying that that's not his true form. He's like hiding his form and everything. There's a whole bunch of theories running around, who he actually is and how strong he is and everything. If he ends up being like this insanely powerful enemy where like as soon as he transforms and people like witness his power and all shit hits the fan, he starts killing off main characters left and right, that would totally redeem the series. That would make the past shit just meaningless.
That would redeem the series, but I'm about to burst your bubble, George.
Uh-oh.
They just revealed Monaka, what he's all about. Would you like to know? It's really interesting. I think you might like it.
Alright.
Okay, basically, Beerus brought him into the team to motivate Goku and Vegeta, and he's actually a total weakling.
Well, we're fucked.
Yep, the series is doomed. That's all there is to it.
I don't know. Yeah, pretty much. Well, I think that's all we had to say, guys. Well, all hope is lost, but, whatever. We obviously are super disappointed by it. We don't absolutely...
Oh, I see what you did there. Super disappointed.
Yes. Me, and pun intended. Maybe. But yeah, we're super disappointed by it, or do you guys super enjoy it? Let us know what you think in the comments below. If we missed anything, let us know. But other than that, we hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it gave you some insight on what's been going on and why we think you probably might agree with us. And if you disagree with us, cool. But either way, thanks for watching. And as always, be sure to subscribe. Super subscribe.
Super's balls.
Super.